Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome. Welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always in all my videos, simply take what resonates and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. I'm talking a little bit today about relationships and people that cross our path on our journey. Since the last full moon in the month of January, we had a wolf moon. I talked about that in one of my lives. Since that full moon, there has been a lot of stuff that's come up lately with clients and with friends about relationships and friendships and other people's stuff, other people's learning. I tend to stay away from words like toxic or nasty terms to label people. I prefer to lean into that vibration with more of a softer understanding that people are here learning lessons. And with those lessons, sometimes we are the teacher. We are often earth angels in helping people learn lessons. And sometimes that's very hard. Sometimes we are also the student. Other people are teaching us what we want and what we don't want in our life. And we navigate through that. Sometimes it feels very stormy, doesn't it? It can be very stormy when we're having learning opportunities that involve other people and other people's stuff that does affect our life. Now, with my own spiritual growth and my own spiritual navigating through what I want in my world and what I don't want in my world, one thing that Spirit has helped me understand is the soul contract. I've talked a lot about that in a previous video. We have made agreements with people before we came here, with other souls, before we came to the physical world. I'm going to meet you at this point in your life. I'm going to offer you a learning opportunity. It'll be up to you if you decide to take it or not. And vice versa. We make contracts. I'm going to meet you at this point in your journey. I'm going to offer you up some learning and help you through something. And sometimes those soul contracts are very short, and sometimes those soul contracts are lifelong. Now, one thing when it comes to being the student in the lesson, being a student in a lesson can sometimes be very difficult because we do take things very personally. If somebody is lacking integrity and they're treating us poorly, or if they're lacking wisdom or compassion and we are being impacted by that, quite often we need to lean into, what is this person trying to teach me? Am I learning how to let go? Am I learning how to stay in alignment? Am I learning what I want and don't want in my life? What am I learning through the experiences that I'm having? And that is a very tough space to be in when the lessons are difficult. It's really easy to learn when it's all easy, when it's all simple, when it's all kind, when it's all loving. It's really easy to be a student in that, right? It's also really easy to be a teacher in that vibration as well. If we are teaching somebody a lesson and they're open to receive it and it's going very well, it's easy to be that teacher or that mentor for someone on their path. When the lessons are difficult, if when people are learning and navigating through their own life lessons, and sometimes we're the teacher that's trying to show or help somebody on their path, sometimes people do claw out at us, right? They do take a chunk out. They may bite. They may have their own things that they're navigating through. And that's when a lot of things come up as far as how we feel with people. And one thing that I have worked really hard on is staying in the alignment of, it's okay that somebody's having a difficult learning journey and they may be outsourcing is a really good word. I just heard Spirit say outsourcing. They may be outsourcing, what they're going through and pushing it towards other people rather than learning that they need to be navigating through their learning experiences within from a different perspective. They're just not there yet. So one thing that I have really worked hard on with my spirituality is when I'm struggling with relationships or behaviors of other people, whether it be personal relationships or friendships, or whether it be strangers. I always just pause for a moment and I always ask myself, what's the lesson here? Am I the student or am I the teacher? Now, being the student and being open to learn is sometimes quite easier than being the teacher, from my experience. Now, being the teacher, and understanding the how the two roles feel very different, is sometimes we are the one experience something and we're learning from it. Right. And then sometimes we are teaching. We're teaching with what we're willing to accept and not willing to accept. We're coming from that loving place of inserting boundaries. We maybe teach. That's how the teacher role feels for me. Is I'm here to help and support and cheer you on, and perhaps open a door for you to walk through. But if the other person is the student, you can't force them to learn. Right. And it's just like very much if you're the student, if you're a student that's learning a lesson from me, and I'm teaching you something, it's up to you on whether or not it resonates with you, or whether or not you are ready to receive it, whether or not you're in a space of being able to align with that. And looking at people from that perspective, they're just not in that space of understanding their lessons. I think we have leaned a little bit too far into judgment and labeling people. I think that for me, my feeling and spirit's feeling is that we need to kind of soften that a little bit. We don't have to be critical of other people's learning. We don't have to understand other people's learning, and we do have our own alignment that we can step back into. We don't have to dance in somebody else's processes, right? We can hold a very loving door open for them to walk through when they're ready to, if they're ever ready to. It's their lessons that they signed up for. It's their learning that they signed up for. And when we are the teacher, as a teacher, it's it's our role to open the door, or to leave something out for them to pick up, which is why when I do my videos or my lives, I always say, if this doesn't resonate with you, just leave it here. If this isn't something that's in your alignment to learn, that's okay. I'm putting it out there. It's everybody has that choice and free will on whether or not they want to pick it up. A teacher doesn't force people to learn something. A teacher puts it out there, opens the door, and then it's up to the student to walk through it. It's up to the student to feel, yeah, I do need to do a little bit of reflection. I do need to work a little bit on my own energy, or I do need to work on opening my mind and working on some mindfulness. I think sometimes we lean into, sometimes with great force, we lean into, well, if this doesn't resonate with you and it resonates with me, I can't connect there. And it's, and it's kind of about being able to stay in your own lane with it, and understanding that the best that you can do when you're the teacher is to open the door, is to plant a seed and allow somebody else on their learning journey to water it. And if they don't, that's their experience. We've become very, in a lot of ways, especially in spirituality, or in life in general, we become very hardcore on labeling people because of their experiences. Some people have signed up for a very difficult journey and they're struggling to learn it. Right? They're struggling to learn it. You see how different that feels compared to the phrase, for example, well, they're just toxic. They're just toxic and making bad choices. Well, perhaps they are making bad choices, but perhaps they've got something a little bit more difficult to learn, right? It just has a bit of a different feel. I'm a big believer, if you will, that we are collective, we are community, we are here together. There's a reason why we're together. And our journeys all go in very different directions, and we're all kind of in our own lane. And some people are struggling to navigate through that, and perhaps it's experience on their lessons that they just haven't learned yet. They haven't learned that wisdom piece. They haven't learned that self-love piece. They haven't learned unconditional. They haven't had that experience yet where they were able to, learn from. So rather than come at them with this harshness, the people in your world, the people that affect you, it's about being able to kind of shift, when we're the teacher, what we're thinking and the doors that we're opening for them. Right. So one thing that I always really work hard on is staying out of that judgment piece and opening doors. Like, here's an open door for you. Here's, if should you decide to navigate through there. And it just has a very different feeling for me. And it has helped me in many of my relationships, whether it be friendships or personal relationships. It's helped keep relationships in that boundary place of nobody has to do anything. Nobody has to heal. Nobody has, nobody has to. And that includes you. When we're navigating through our own growth and our own experience, if we're not ready to walk through a door yet, the door's open for us. I'm sure there's been many teachers in your world that have left that door open for you to walk through. Teachers can come in many different forms, whether it be social media teachers or whether it be people that you run into on your journey, whether it be friends or family. I'm sure that they've opened up doors with loving intentions. When you're ready, I'm here. And sometimes we simply say that, when you're ready, I'm here to talk. That's an open door for somebody to come to you, right? When you're ready to hear about what I know about mindfulness, here's the door that's open for you. When you're ready to navigate through repairing, the door's open for you. And sometimes we do close those doors for our own good as well. When it comes down to what we have learned, sometimes we learn that the soul contract is over and we lovingly have to move forward, and that person is meant to go in a very different direction. The human experience, we struggle with that. We struggle with allowing soul contracts to end. We struggle with navigating through what we want and what we don't want in our life. And that's where a lot of these repeat lessons come in with people. And that is often you being the student, and those people, different faces, slightly different stories, but very similar lessons that you're learning. You're the student. When you start seeing that, when you start seeing repeat lessons from people, the same theme going on, just with a slightly different topic, you're the student. But what are these people trying to teach you? What doors are they opening up for you to stick your head in and learn? And sometimes it's very simple. I keep leaning into what I don't want in life. I'm looking for a different way of satisfying what I need in this physical world. It's all about lessons and learning. And I think that, it's okay to lovingly say, I've learned that lesson and I wish you well. And it's also very much okay to say, let's try and navigate through some of this with open doors and open mind and open heart. I always pause when I'm having an experience. I always pause for a moment and ask myself that, am I the student or am I the teacher? And then I manage the experience from that point of alignment, because it really helps to navigate from that clear-minded, what am I learning? And it also helps you navigate through hurt feelings. Right? I'm learning how to manage disappointment. I'm learning how to manage betrayal. I'm learning how to manage situations. I'm learning how to manage what it's like to have something removed. I'm learning how to manage. It just feels very different for me energetically. So, if this resonates with you, insert it into your spiritual practices. Most of my videos that I do is to kind of give you something to think about. You're welcome to try my techniques or tweak them into your own. It's completely up to you. And you're also welcome to just simply say, thumbs up, Lana, great video, but it doesn't align with me. It's all on how we look at it. It's all on how we look at it with perspective. as always, I'm wishing you love, light, blessings, and a spirit-guided day.